Here we are with Mike McCain. Mike runs a lot of the companies, a partner at Titan Rapid AppWorks, and one of our founders. And today we'll be doing a show on the future of AI as it enables faster development of Mendix solutions for our clients. So after Realize Live, what's your honest read? Are we at an inflection point for AI Mendix development, or is the industry still in the promising demo phase? What do you think?
Honestly, I think we're at a genuine inflection point. And I say that as someone who's typically skeptical of these inflection points in the past. What I saw Realize Live, wasn't just demoware or vaporware or just trade show banter. It was capability that our teams are, in some cases, already putting to work. The gap between what we saw on stage, which is impressive, and how we deliver is closing very significantly. We're not talking about, AI as like, how we suggest a widget or, where auto completes a line here or there. And we're talking about AI kind of reshaping how developers think about the whole build process from the start. And that's a different conversation than we were having, 18 months to 2 years ago.
Yeah, so when you picture Mendix 2 years from now, 3 years from now, development in Mendix, what does it look like? And did Realize Live change any of that picture or confirm what you expected?
2 to 3 years from now, I think the Mendix developer's job is going to look a lot more different. It's going to be more directing and less like manual developing. We're going to be, describing intents, validating outcomes, really focusing on the expertise on the hard problems. Like the integrations, the edge cases, really where the business logic matters. Realize confirmed a lot what I expected directionally, but the pace surprised me. A year and a half, things felt so much farther away, but now they're closer, and things are actually getting delivered quicker than I anticipated. And that's really exciting for our clients too, because they can take advantage of this technology really quickly.
For sure. So where in the Mendix lifecycle does AI have the most immediate practical impact right now? Is it like design, build, test, deploy? Where do you think the biggest gain is?
I think I have to answer that in two phases. You're talking about right now is like, what can we do with Mendix from a beta perspective, and what can we do with AI and Mendix from a long-term support, medium-term support versioning. From a beta perspective, the heaviest build phase, generating logic, the scaffolding modules, accelerating that repetitive work, that used to eat up developer hours. Now we're seeing that get pulled off their plate. And, like I mentioned earlier, they're now focusing more on the, orchestration and the business logic. I'm excited about, what's happening on the front end of the cycle, the design requirements, that transition side, just because, you can use AI to help build your design quite a bit. On the build side, like I mentioned, you can take care of the general scaffolding, the microflows and that kind of stuff, your stories, your UI and other things as well.
So with speed being the obvious promise of AI development, what about the quality and consistency, some of the things that maybe aren't guaranteed when you're using AI assisted development? Are we seeing AI help teams build better?
Yeah, that's a great question, because I think, the speed, we're all seeing speed, right? And that's actually the least interesting part of the AI story for me. Yes, we're getting faster. We can see that every day, but the consistency gains that you make are really going to move the needle for enterprise clients. AI enforces different patterns, and it doesn't have bad days like a developer at 4 p.m. on a Friday, right? So your AI is going to be very consistent. What we're seeing is that we're able to ship with fewer defects and have more architectural consistency than before. The quality floor has risen too, and what you're managing in a portfolio of applications across large organizations, that consistency is enormously valuable to have that consistency.
When you're talking to a client and you mention AI assisted development, I'm imagining some of them get excited, some of them get nervous. What's really in what's being built by AI, right? So how do you frame it so it lands as an advantage for them rather than a risk?
Kind of like how we operate our business, we like to meet, our clients where they are on this. For the ones who are nervous, we reframe it quickly. AI and Mendix development isn't replacing your oversight. It's augmenting what your team's capability is. Why your governance stays exactly where it is, because you're developing on a low-code platform like Mendix. So you're going to have that inherent visibility and transparency when it comes to what you develop and what you see underneath it. As a developer using AI and Mendix, you actually can see the microflows, and Mendix being low-code, it's very visual anyway, so you get that transparency.
So looking out forward over the next 12 months, what are you seeing out there? What are you watching closely? Maybe something that's not quite ready yet, but could be a game changer around that time.
Still very impressive what was announced, but what I'm keeping my eye on closely is the AI-driven test generation and the intelligent regression coverage from that. So right now, testing is still a very significant bottleneck in enterprise Mendix delivery. If AI can get to the point where it can understand the application well enough to generate meaningful test coverage automatically, and not just surface level scripts, but logic aware tests, and that changes the deployment conversation entirely. We're not fully there yet, but the trajectory is clear, and I think it's closer than most people expect.
So for a client sitting on the fence about whether to invest in AI-enabled Mendix development now versus waiting until things mature, and a lot of people are in that decision point, what do you tell them?
I think the cost of waiting is higher than they think, actually. Not because the tools will get worse, and they won't, but because their competitors aren't waiting. Everybody out there is testing or learning and trying to work with AI-assisted development. They're building these instincts, workflows, institutional knowledge, that's going to compound over time. And by the time the people that are sitting on the fence decide it's mature enough, they'll be 12 to 18 months behind the curve. And at the rate that we're learning and delivering and keeping up with the speed, that only gets steeper and steeper as we continue. So you don't have to go in all day one, but you have to start. So our recommendation is pick a project with an AI-assisted tooling, learn from it, and just learning. Keep the thought that your learning is the asset.
Right. Well, thanks so much for your time, Mike. Mike, again, he looks out for us as a company on our future and what's happening from an innovation perspective. So I appreciate your time, Mike.
All right. Thanks, Daniel.